Welcome back into the big 1-2 here on 365 Sports. Paul Catalina alongside JD Piquel. We're brought to you by Shorty's Pizza Shack at 12th and Bagby. Look, if you're coming into Waco for game day, not many better places to go on game day than Shorty's Pizza Shack. Great deals on slices, great deals on beer, great deals on, look, Boone's Farm. They have Boone's Farm there, which I've done before, JD. More than I'd like to admit.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I've had Boone's Farm and pizza.
There's no shame in that.
No, there's not. I mean, like, even at 41 years old, there's no shame in it.
There shouldn't be.
I'll do it again. I will do it again.
You should. I want to do it with you.
Let's do it.
I want to do it. It's a date.
That's
We're
right.
doing it.
Yeah.
It's on camera.
Game day. Shorty's Pizza Shack. We're going to do that. All right, it's time for Chalk Talk and our subject this week, Spencer Rattler. Overwhelmingly by many services, the number one ranked player in the country coming into this season, JD. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to see why, but you know, my thoughts on him were he has to mature as a human being more than he really does as a quarterback. Lincoln Riley can do a lot with a quarterback thing, and I'm sure a lot with a human being thing, just growing up as a kid. But last year we saw some ebbs and flows until the end of the season, and then he became a really, really amazing player.
Yeah, I think you said that perfectly. We need to see Spencer Rattler take that next step as a leader and take the next step as a quarterback. There were times earlier in the year where you're like, what are you doing? You're trying to do too much. And we saw that time and time again until the Texas game. We said, hey, come talk to me. Come sit down on the bench right next to me. We'll talk about it. Worlds better from a turnover standpoint for Spencer Rattler. And this is early in the year. We see it here against Iowa State. You got 2 timeouts. You're down by a score. You got a whole minute left on the clock. Spencer, you don't need to do too much, my guy. We don't need to get it all in one play. A touchdown ties the game. So here, take care of the football. We see it here. Spread offense, spread formation. You got 4 wide. Takes a snap. Looking deep, he's looking deep, he's looking deep. All right, pause right there. You got 2 guys, Spence. 2 guys. I mean, just check it down. Make the easy throw, make the easy play. Get your team a first down and just don't turn the ball over again. 2 timeouts, only down by 7. Just trying to do too much. And so if he can take the next step and just be patient within the scheme, he can just be patient, make his reads, take what the defense gives him, realize he doesn't have to be Superman for this offense to be successful. They could be really, really dangerous. So we see that here. Pick, ends the game, boom, you're down. This is some good Spencer Rattler. Right here, we see man coverage, and he reads it right off the bat. Depth eyes leverage, he sees their eyes are on their man. So we're tied up here, meaning they're not worried about anything else. They're just sitting on their receiver, worried about the receiver, that's it. And Spencer Rattler, that's why he's number one ranked player in the country. He's got the arm talent that you just can't teach. So straight up, takes that drop, stride for stride. So he throws a back shoulder pass right here. The receiver does a great job, runs his seam route to give him a lot of space on the sideline. He's trailing. Again, he's in man, so he's not looking back at the quarterback. He's just worried about Charleston Rambo and Spencer Rattler. Back shoulder dime piece. Got him, coach. Strike at the band. And that was, I mean, let's face it, that was a massacre across the board. Again, a Florida team that was down however many starters, but still, to make a play like that against a defense, still an SEC caliber defense. Yeah.
And look, and you may talk about this here in a few minutes. Some of the things about Spencer Rattler are, like the 2 throws you saw, his footwork's not great on either one of them. Mm-hmm. You know, he threw off his back foot in that long one he threw the interception. He didn't really set his feet all that well in that throw. I think some of the problems with the guys who are supremely athletically talented, they don't have to do all the things that everyone else has to do to make the same throw. You know, a normal human being has to set his feet and look this way and square his shoulders and throw it just that way. Well, Spencer Rattler, God gave him a thunderbolt, and he can just go, bop, and it goes 40 yards.
Oh, 100%.
So teaching him to do those other things and it'll go 60 yards is really scary, but it's also really hard because when you have so much God-given ability, how are you supposed to teach the guy to rein that in?
Absolutely. And it's tough because you don't want to coach it out of him. And especially right now, the trend is awkward arm angles, awkward platforms. And so he's seeing that on NFL Sundays and like, hey, I can do that. Like you said, flick of the wrist and it goes right to his man 30, 40 yards downfield. But definitely something to where if he can take that next step fundamentally as well, it's going to be an absolute force, especially with his athletic ability. And we see that again here as well. So we'll break this down right here. This is the same play. Boom. Dime piece. Gotcha. Again, strike up the band. Big play. Now we're going back to some of the mistakes here. This is bad Spencer Sanders. Bad Spencer Rattler. Spencer Sanders, whole other topic. We'll get into that, I'm sure, later in the season. Hopefully good Spencer Sanders. So right here, he's got 3rd and 9, and he's got bunch formation on this side. So you got TJ Pledger down here, 3 other receivers right here, And again, if there's nothing wrong with punting, Paul. There's nothing wrong with punting. There's nothing wrong with tucking and running. He's a great athlete. He could probably pick it up by himself, but he gets greedy. He gets locked on this one receiver right here. And Texas has their linebacker. He's dropped down at the beginning as a D lineman, drops back during the play, and just Spencer Rattler just doesn't see it at all. And I think some of that could be due to his maturation process at this point in time. He's not a very mature quarterback right here, and you see him make a mistake, throw it right to DeMarvion Overshown, reads it, easy, not even a hard catch for my guy. And that was a tough one. At this point, you kind of felt like maybe Lincoln Riley's blood's boiling just a little bit, getting a little bit frustrated with his young quarterback, and just a turnover he didn't need to have. I mean, you saw there were guys open at the bottom of the screen there. There was guys that were wide open, and he just kind of takes that throw because he decided pre-snap, hey, I'm going to this slant because that's what I know. That's what I feel comfortable throwing. That's what I know is going to pick up 3rd and 9. And so the last mistake we have for Spencer Sanders here, again, just tries to do too much with the football. Again, another 3rd down, 3rd and 5. So he's thinking, I mean, in high school, Spencer Rattler, I guarantee you, converted most 3rd and 5s because he felt like it. Probably didn't end up in 3rd and 5 too often anyway. But you see right here, just tries to do too much. So watch right here. He's going to go to a check down. He's going to go deep. He's going to go ahead and run this curl. He wants to go deep. You watch his eyes. He wants to throw deep to my guy and make a big play, score a touchdown, strike up the band. My man sits right here. He's probably the second option. This guy is open right away. He should feel the pressure and get rid of it. Just check it down. Live to play another play. He's a good athlete. He can get you a first down. But Spencer Rattler scrambles, shakes it off, ends up costly turnover right here. Throw it to him. You're telling me he can't have a chance to pick up a first down? Like you're hurting your team by not making the easy play. And we saw him make the easy play more and more as the season wore on. Goes Pirates of the Caribbean mode here. Bad ball security. And this was kind of the final straw for Lincoln Riley. After that play, he said, hey, come sit next to me. We're going to talk about this, and we're going to make sure you don't do that going forward. After that play, world's better quarterback.
Yeah, and another thing you have to teach elite athletes to do, especially, is that, like, hey, you're at Oklahoma. You're not the only great player here. Mm-hmm. Like, let the other guys do some stuff. You know, it's fine to let them do it. It's hard sometimes, I think, especially with somebody like Spencer Rattler was on a reality show because he was such a good high school quarterback. Like, in his mind, he can do it, and that's fine. He's right most of the time, but in the Big 12, in major college football, most of the time is not what you want. Mm-hmm. You want all of the time.
Yeah, and he's been it.
Yeah.
He's been it since he was in high school. He was the number 1 ranked quarterback coming out, number 1 ranked quarterback obviously going into the season, number 1 ranked player going into the season. Even during his redshirt freshman year, people were saying he was going to have a chance to win the Heisman. Guys before had done it. Baker, Kyler, Jalen Hurts was in the finalist for it. So he's been told time and time and again, hey, you're it. You're Superman. You can do it all on your own. If he can take that next step, play within the scheme, play to his strengths as opposed to trying to make it all happen at once, Oklahoma's going to be dangerous. And I think you said on one of the first shows, they're not going to lose a lot, Paul. They are not going to lose a lot of games this season. So one other thing about his game that you got to love, and this is something that I think just makes him a headache for defenses all of the time, his athletic ability. Right here you see it. TJ Pledger motions out, so that tips him off, hey, we're in a man scheme. I got man across the board. I can shake and bake a little bit. So he's going to come out with him. We'll see it here. Boom. Again, look at the eyes. He's locked on. That's man. He's locked on. That's man. He's locked on over here. That's man. Rose is over there. You can't really see him, but he sees it early, and I'm really glad he did this because the temptation here is to force it in that window, force it in completion, force it in up here, probably it's interception. Spencer Rattler's patient, and he goes, oh, I forgot, I'm really athletic. Boom, up in the air, touchdown. And again, that was still early in the season where he's trying to take what the defense gives him, but his athletic ability can be an equalizer for a lot of mistakes that he is still trying to grow into.
Look, I don't want my quarterback running all that much. Yeah. I'm not a person who's like, unless that's what he does. Mm-hmm. You know, unless he's Tommy Frazier, that's not what I want. You know, if you're running the old option, then sure. I want my quarterback running when it's going to hurt the other team the most, mm-hmm. or when it's just the last thing you can do. You know, I like, you know, the thing about Charlie Brewer that I think people will never understand is how annoying he was on 3rd and 8. Like, look, 3rd and 8. Okay, you've covered everybody. You know he's got limited arm talent. Well, he'll just run for it if you drop back. Mm-hmm. You know, he's probably not going to run for 50, but, like, all he needed was 9. So now he's got 8 or 9. And that's the kind of thing I want from a quarterback. That's the kind of thing that Spencer Rattler can do. You're not going to see him probably rattle off a lot of 50s. He could probably do it, but you're not going to see that too much from him.
1,000%. I love that Oklahoma, they don't ask him to do a lot running the ball. Like, he can improvise during the play. When the play breaks down like it does here, he can beat you, like you said, 3rd and 8, but they're not calling quarterback power. They're not calling quarterback wide zone like we might see Baylor do this year. But no, when he improvises, he's special. He can make up for a lot of the things that the defense asked him to do. Right here, this was when you're like, okay, he's pretty special. Like, you understand, okay, the game is starting to slow down for him, and he's just a specimen when it comes to what he has physically. So right here, kind of a similar play. Gets caught in a corner blitz. Call that a cat blitz. So he's coming hot off the edge. They're still trying to sell this fake. They're trying to, I guess, essentially put him in a bind and make him go for that fake. He doesn't bite at all. He's like, nah, I've watched film. I know that y'all are dropping back and passing. So he's coming in hot, Spencer Rattler. Boom. Everywhere else in America, they call that a sack. Spencer Rattler, spin cycle, circle button, get off me, keeps his eyes downfield to his credit, and then just uses his athletic ability to get out. Like you said, he's got some wheels. He's not going to all the time go for 30 or 40. Does a good job, runs out of bounds. Athletic ability, the great equalizer for Spencer Rattler. This, to me, was also really impressive because they're spying him. And when you're spying, for those at home that don't know, a spy is essentially the defense saying, okay, we have one guy who's going to be responsible for the quarterback. The NFL defenses try to do it all the time to Michael Vick. Never worked. I'm not saying Spencer Rattler's Michael Vick, but sort of the same story here. Spencer Rattler takes the drop. He realizes right here, okay, I have no pass coverage responsibility. Spencer Rattler's out of the pocket, which is his cue to, okay, sick him, go ahead and get after him. And Spencer Rattler makes him miss and gets out in the open. That's an SEC linebacker he just made miss in the open field. Scrambles upfield, big first down, and obviously you see it here. Insult to injury. I love this right here. I mean, you said it. He's kind of towing that line between, are you competitive or are you just kind of a jerk? If he can channel that into right here, like, hey, I'm down for my teammate, I ride for my guys, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little trash right here as long as there's no penalty. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. We'll finish up here with some of his touch passes. He's got a lot of touch. Like you said, so much arm talent from the guy. He has so much just natural ability that you can't teach. You see it right here. Corner route coming underneath. My man Theo Weiss coming out right here. Boom. High arm angle. If he leaves that short, that's an interception. He's got him trailing. You cannot afford to throw that short. Not only does he not throw it short, puts a nice angle on it, drops it in the bucket. First down, Sooners. Again, same thing. You mentioned it. He throws off of awkward platforms when he doesn't always have to. Right here, it does him a service. He's able to throw out of an awkward platform. He's able to use that arm talent. And again, you see it. He diagnoses it really quick. He's watched film during the week. Again, depth, eyes, leverage is your keys when you're talking about man coverage. So you see the depth, they're at about a yard and a half, so he's not bailing out. Eyes, we're looking right at our guy right here. We're not worried about anything behind us, anything around going over here. We're not worried about run. We're worried about our man right here, man coverage. Diagnoses it very quickly. He sees it. Hey, buddy's in man. I got one guy to throw against. A little bit of heat and throws off the, like he's not even stepping into that throw. He's fading back, just like you mentioned, Paul. Puts it right on the numbers, back shoulder. That's an NFL kind of throw right there. Oh, we're rolling too quick with the Cowboy. I want to hear what you thought about that back shoulder pass, and he's dropping.
I mean, again, just think about how good he's going to be when he doesn't do that. Mm-hmm. I mean, he can do it, like, and that's one of the things that's scary because sometimes you got this guy dead to right, and he can throw the ball almost as well without putting any of his feet into it, mm-hmm. just from his arm and wrist, just mm-hmm. right there. So that's what makes him super scary. That's why he's probably the Heisman front runner right now. That and the fact that he's a Lincoln Riley quarterback, he's got pretty good percentage on those guys. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's scary, and I think once he also just learns to do it the right way, he's going to be even scarier because that means that those accidental throws he makes sometimes aren't going to happen as much.
100%. He's going to be able to settle into the offense, play his game, and not only play his game, play to the strengths of his game as opposed to having to be Superman and do it all by himself. Last play here, enormous game. New Year's 6. 0-0, it's opening up, first drive of the game. Florida's talked a lot of smack all week long. Emotions are high. Catches him here. We'll see if we can rewind a little bit here. Florida catches him here. He's saying, hey, who's got this guy? You have this guy. Get down there. And Spencer Rattler does a great job here. Doesn't panic. Takes a nice drop. Steps into contact and throws a great ball right here. But one thing that I'm encouraged by, he didn't freak out. In a big game like this, emotions are high. It's your first big bowl game. Like, there's a tendency to freak out and overthrow this, but he does a great job, drops it right in the bucket, It hits Marvin Moon for a touchdown. I love it, though. Steps into contact. Boom. He's coming free. Tell you what, right here, he knows he's taking a shot in the ribs. That hurts a lot. I mean, I played a little bit of quarterback, not a lot of quarterback, but enough to know this doesn't feel good. And so for him to step into that and deliver a dime piece, that's one of those throws that makes you say, that's my quarterback right there. Terrell Owens style. That's my quarterback. So all that's to say, love what Spencer Rattler brings to the table. If he can take that next step, I don't see a situation where they don't end up in the college football playoff, Big 12 champs.
By the way, JD, if you bring highlights where Florida's losing, we're going to get along really, really well for the rest of our existence. But, yeah, Spencer Rattler, fantastic player, fantastic talent, and only scratching the surface, just a little bit so far. All right, that's going to do it for us. This is the big 1-2. I'm Paul Catalina. He's JD Piquel. Thanks to Shorty's Pizza Shack at 12th and Bagby. Find out more at shortyspizzashack.com. Thanks to Armstrong Sims and Jack McKenzie. We're back again with a new episode next week. Enjoy the first week, everybody.